Today, we're unpacking the incredibly complex and, well, paradoxical story of a CIA officer named John Kiriakou. So let's just dive right into the central, really stunning paradox of this whole thing. I mean, think about it. He was the only CIA officer asked who refused to get trained in torture. So how in the world did he become the only one who ended up in prison for it? To really get our heads around this, we've got to rewind. We're going back to the days right after 9/11, a time when, the rules of engagement were basically being rewritten on the fly. So you have John Kiriakou. He's a 13-year CIA veteran, and he is right there on the front lines of the war on terror. In 2002, he's the head of counterterrorism ops in Pakistan, and his team, they lead the capture of a huge target, Abu Zubaydah, a guy they thought was al-Qaeda's number 3. So yeah, Kiriakou was a rising star, and his career was absolutely on fire. But then something happens. He's back at CIA headquarters, and get this, a senior officer just kind of casually walks up to him in the cafeteria, asks him if he wants to get certified in enhanced interrogation techniques. Now, this was a brand new term. Kiriakou had literally never heard it before. So he's not sure what to make of this, right? He goes to a senior mentor, someone he trusts, for advice. And the warning he gets back is, well, it's chilling. His mentor tells him, quote, "Let's call a spade a spade. This is a torture program. Torture is a slippery slope. Somebody's going to go to prison. Do you want to go to prison?" It wasn't just about morals. It was about survival. So how many CIA officers were asked to get certified in these new techniques? 14. And how many of them said no? Just one. And that one officer was John Kiriakou. And this is a really crucial point. His refusal wasn't some quiet, private moral stand. The fallout was immediate. He gets passed over for a promotion. The head of the counterterrorism center actually cites a shocking lack of commitment. And behind his back, his colleagues start calling him the human rights guy. And trust me, that was not a compliment. Okay, so he's already on the outs internally. Now let's look at how this all escalates to the moment he decides to go public, a decision that would completely change his life forever.
And this is where it gets really fascinating, because you can see this stark contrast in what happened with the very same prisoner, Abu Zubaydah. On one hand, you've got the FBI. Their method? Conversation, respect, building trust. The result? They got actionable intelligence. But then the CIA takes over. Their methods? Waterboarding, a cold cell, even a coffin with cockroaches. The result? The prisoner just went completely silent.
And this really shows you what was at stake. I mean, the FBI's old-school methods, they were working. They got al-Qaeda's entire organizational structure. They identified Khaled Sheikh Mohammed, the 9/11 mastermind. They even disrupted a planned terror cell in Germany. This was life-saving stuff, all gained before the so-called enhanced techniques began. So fast forward a few years. It's 2007. Kiriakou's left the CIA. He's in the private sector. And he's watching the news when he sees President Bush deny the torture program even exists. Then later, the president suggests that if anything did happen, it must have been some rogue CIA officer. Well, for Kiriakou, a light bulb goes off, a terrifying one. He's thinking, wait a minute, I'm the guy who said no. They're going to make me the scapegoat. So he decides to speak out. He agrees to an interview with ABC News. And in that one interview, he drops 3 absolute bombshells. He says, 1, the CIA was torturing its prisoners. 2, it wasn't rogue. It was official U.S. government policy. And 3, that policy was personally approved by the president. This just blew the White House's story completely out of the water. And the system strikes back hard and fast. That interview airs, and literally within 24 hours, the CIA files a crimes report against him. And just like that, a machine starts turning that is going to consume his life for years to come.
Now, this timeline is really revealing. So his interview airs in December 2007. A year later, the FBI actually drops the investigation. They say, hey, nothing to see here, and decline to prosecute. But then the Obama administration takes office. And in 2012, everything changes. The Justice Department, apparently under pressure from a very senior official, John Brennan, charges Kiriakou with 5 felonies, including espionage. So they bring him into a meeting. And what do the prosecutors put on the table? 45 years. 45 years in prison. The message was crystal clear. They were going to crush him. So what do? The legal fight goes on for years. It completely bankrupts him. And he's facing a trial in Virginia, where the jury pool is just packed with government employees and contractors. His lawyers basically told him a trial was unwinnable. So, to avoid the risk of spending the rest of his life in prison, he took a plea deal.
He was ultimately sentenced to 30 months in a low-security federal prison and served 23 of them. But believe it or not, the story is far from over.
And here's the wild part. Just 6 weeks before he's set to be released, the Senate publishes its massive torture report. And what does it say? It confirms everything. That the program was brutal, that it was ineffective. It completely vindicated what Kiriakou had said. It even prompted Senator John McCain to stand up on the floor of the Senate and say that without John Kiriakou, the American people would have never known what was being done in their name.
But here's the thing. That vindication was just words. The personal cost was real, and it was devastating. He served his time. He was driven into bankruptcy. He lost his government pension. And after he got out, with a felony conviction on his record, he couldn't get a job anywhere. We're talking rejected by McDonald's, by Target, even by Uber. So you have to ask yourself, John Kiriakou's journey from being this decorated CIA officer to a federal inmate, it really forces us to confront a tough question. When one person's conscience goes up against the massive machinery of national security, what is the true cost of telling the truth?